Hello and welcome to Zgermanguy Reviews. I'm Zgermanguy. And welcome back, my friends, to another edition of Kingdom Hearts, a retrospective. The last time, Sora and Riku ran into the kids from The World Ends With You, and both of them received the same mission: find a missing person. Sora just woke up and goes back to the welcoming area of Traverse Town, where suddenly a new entrance next to the mailbox has opened up. And get this, there's a giant underground warehouse twice as big as the original Traverse Town. So Disney and Amazon merged together and now they are building fulfillment centers everywhere? Although a lot of these packages appear to be Christmas themed. Maybe this is a parent company of Santa Claus or something? At least it's going to provide a lot of jobs for the people living here. Even if it's a bit of a cynical business model to use a city of refugees for that. Anyway, we get out and discover a completely new part of Traverse Town, where we find Beat's little sister Rhyme. The sweet little thing tells us that she's lost her memory, so Sora figures maybe if she meets Neku, that could jog her brain. We find Neku and he apologizes, telling us he believed the man in black when he said he could help him and his partner get home. Sora, of course, says it's no big deal. After all, he proved that he cared about him by trying to protect him. Then Rhyme gets teleported away, after Sora asked Neku if she was his partner, which she isn't. The mysterious figure returns and lets us fight against a giant wolf in a jack-in-the-box box. Does your little sister or brother annoy you too much? Buy now the big bad wolf in a box and see their faces get bitten off. After we beat the boss, something strange happens. No! Not in Kingdom Hearts! What is the world coming to? Somehow, little bits and pieces that spread around the place cause Sora to see Riku and Neku's partner called Shiki in the other version of Twilight Town. Joshua appears right before us, bringing back Rhyme. He explains that he helped her because her dreams are his gateway between the worlds. And he says this as if it seriously answers anything.
How could I possibly know your name, right? This town has a little secret. It only appears when someone out there has need of shelter. I'll spare you the details, but right now it's made up of my dreams. So of course I know you. I dreamed you up. I know your best friend Riku, too.
Really? You know Riku?
Well, yeah. I'm kind of omniscient.
Casually just throwing out there that he is God. Can we please quickly move on to something else? I hate the idea of a smug prick being the reason for the world existing. Joshua goes on explaining that Riku is right where we are, just on a different plane. And if we want to find out why the worlds got split in half in the first place, we will have to shake the answers out of the man with the hood. We then turn the clock back a few hours before our friends on the other side were cornered. Riku helps out Shiki, who was being chased by some Dream Eaters. The young girl showers us with thanks and is offended when Riku wants to leave, since as far as he is concerned, their business together is over. If that had been Sora in the same situation, he would have invited her to his birthday, wedding, Christmas party, and if necessary had donated half of his bones.
You chat up a girl and then just say, sure, and walk off?
I'm bad at this. Sorry. Look, it's not safe here. You should go home.
If it's dangerous, how can you just leave me here? Aren't you my knight in shining armor? Well?
Knight? you've got the wrong idea.
Oh my gosh, I was so just kidding.
Christ, why do you women play these mind games? No means yes, yes means no, don't drive drunk, just say what you mean!
After some chit-chat, the two of them walk for a while through the city, even past a bad district, with graffiti and stuff. Keep your hands in your pockets and never look anyone directly in the eyes. Sora, get away from that man in the trench coat! Shiki suddenly sees something and runs off. Riku follows her, but runs into Evil Man with No Face number 105. Only evil people don't like cute things! The man is upset since it seems that we are not supposed to be here. He claims that we will wander this realm forever. Beat shows up behind him. We are then told that she made the same deal that Neku did, namely to bring us to this man in exchange for a way home. We are then forced to fight the wolf in a box. Or it's a box with a wolf body inside. You never truly know where the brainstem is located with these things. But this time we fight inside a greenhouse, and of course we win, leading to the same results as before, with Riku and company seeing the others in the other Traverse Town. And then it looks like as if a music video is about to start.
Hey girl.
Yo, girl.
Halloween has gotten so commercialized.
So many commercials.
Let's try to get back to what it's really about.
What's it about, boo-boo?
Love.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. When I see you, I fall apart. Like a zombie. I got too nervous to...
Maybe they decided to put a version of Utada Hikaru inside the Kingdom Hearts universe, kind of like Ratchet and Clank with their knockoff version of Britney Spears, and Sora and Riku are her background dancers? No, what actually happens is that thanks to the strength of their hearts, they get reconnected with one another. Joshua explains to both Riku and Sora that all of these kids we saw died in their homeworld, and so in order to save them, Joshua collected pieces of their dreams and brought them here, hoping he could make them whole again. When both of them want to know just who the heck Joshua really is and why he knows all this, he turns into an angel and flies away. You know, playing this franchise has killed my ability to be impressed by strange shit. To me, that was just as normal as a bee landing on my soda can. At least now I can hope that when Joshua said he was omniscient, he meant that he is not the big guy himself, but just reports back to him. So I guess, thank God. Anyway, the first keyhole appears. Nice of the forces of light that they always demand a trial to overcome first. And so we move to the next world, which happens to be Paris, France. Yeah, no, I'm not going to save you.
Bonjour, you cheese-eating surrender monkeys!
But of course, we can't have actual political realities in our game, even though, as discussed a long time ago, the British flag is ever present. No, instead, this city is called La Cité des Cloches.
Omelette de fromage.
Translation, the City of Bells. Sora walks down the street and passes by Judge Claude Frollo, my favorite Disney villain from my favorite Disney movie of all time, who looks at our clothes and suspects us to be a gypsy. Being a xenophobic asshole, Frollo only has harsh and mean words for us. Thankfully, the conversation, or rather interrogation as Frollo calls it, is interrupted when Captain Phoebius shows up, telling him the city is under attack by monsters. I told them that would be the inevitable result of open borders. Mafaga! Sora immediately knows what that means, summoning his Keyblade and runs into battle. Yeah, maybe don't show off your magic skills in public, Sora. It's not going to help convince the hardcore paranoid fascist lunatic that you are not sent by the devil. Or maybe that's exactly what we need to do. Maybe this Christian Inquisitor just needs a bit of experience with multiculturalism to realize that it's pretty sweet.
I was just imagining a rope around that beautiful neck.
I know what you're imagining.
Such a clever witch. So typical of your kind to twist the truth, to cloud the mind with unholy thoughts.
Tolerance is always a work in progress. As soon as we are out of sight, Frollo begins to let the hatred flow through him, saying how he can't stand it, how his city has been infested with all these vermin and oh my god, you are so easy to hate. We arrive at the town square and see Quasimodo riding on the back of a Dream Eater elephant, unaware of the danger he is in. Once Quasimodo is seen by Frollo, the fear this causes sets the Dream Eater into rage mode. The hunchback is then lamenting how never anything he wants goes according to plan. Sure, that's one way to do this scene, but I think the one in the movie where the entire town comes together to humiliate him, making him awfully aware more than ever before that he is more different than anybody else and thus will probably forever be an outcast, crushing his already fragile sense of self-worth to the core, is a bit superior to... "Oh shucks, why can't I have nice things?" Esmeralda shows up to bring Quasimodo and herself to safety while Sora deals with the Dream Eaters. Afterwards, Sora is hoping that the two of them are alright and goes inside the cathedral to check on them, and then there are more Dream Eaters. "Get out of the house of God, you filthy demons!" Truly we have the power of God and anime on our side. What's strange though is that there's this huge amount of free space around here and just a few benches at the very front. You don't seem to understand the point of a cathedral, do you? Or did most of Paris found an alternative place of worship?
This is awesome! Black God rules!
Anyway, Sora goes up to the attic of the cathedral where he can clearly see that Quasi and Esmeralda are fine and have both become acquainted. Quasi decides that he has to help Esmeralda escaping from Frollo and his army of zealots, so he grabs her and jumps over the rooftops of the city. At the same time, Sora is left alone with the gargoyles of the bell tower and best friends of Quasimodo, telling him how Frollo has forbidden him all his life to go outside. So our Keyblade hero wants to talk to him so that he gets the courage not to stay a prisoner any longer. A prison of his own making, residing in his own heart. On our way, we are talked to by Captain Phoebus, Sora being understandably distrustful of him at first, since he is one of Frollo's lackeys. But then he assures us that he is not looking for a fight. Captain French confesses that he doesn't agree with any of Frollo's policies, which is why Frollo stripped him of his rank. But more important than that is that the fanatic has found the sanctuary of the gypsies inside the city, the so-called Court of Miracles. Quasimodo was nearby, overhearing our conversation, and the other two guys first realize he is there when he dropped a dream catcher of sorts that Esmeralda gave him. The last words Esmeralda said to him before she vanished into the streets were, "If you wear this woven band, you hold the city in your hand," which meant the pendant is a map of the city, and the X on it the marker that shows their hideout. So we cross the river, walk through a graveyard and Paris underground tomb with tons of skeletons, you know, Disney stuff, and arrive at a secret place where Esmeralda is waiting for us. But it turns out that it was all a ruse when Frollo claimed that he knows where the Court of Miracle was. In reality, he used us to lead him to the gypsies. He takes Esmeralda as prisoner, without creepily sniffing her hair as he did in the scene where this is actually from. But I'm sure he still sang a song the night before about how he is going to rape her. You know, Disney stuff. Sora tries to intervene, but Frollo blasts him across the room. Later he wakes up, but is all alone. Why did he not put him in chains too, if he was convinced that he was a gypsy as well? Scratch that, helping them should be enough. Or did he not attack us because we were all defenseless when we were lying unconscious on the ground? Is that actually the line that he won't cross? Anyhow, Sora remembered that Frollo said that he was taking Esmeralda to a bonfire in town square, so he hurries as much as his feet allow, past the burning city of Paris, because what is ethnic cleansing without the right atmosphere? I'm sure there's some way we can put a positive spin on this. People don't have to commit as much insurance fraud anymore? Now time for the big showdown. Esmeralda is already a bit crispy, but she is saved by the bell ringer, who carries her to the top of the cathedral. even though they are on holy ground and therefore should have full sanctuary, where fears and lies melt away. It makes no difference to Frollo because he is so enraged that he doesn't give a rat's ass about anyone's prohibition. Sometimes you have to burn down the Vatican to save Christianity. Sora, determined to stop him, gets surprised by another huge Dream Eater. This time it's a bat. And only just now I begin to realize what the main differentiating factor between them and all the previous creatures is. The Dream Eaters are all based on animals, which is very uninspired and lazy. Just take any random zoo animal, inject them with all the colors of the rainbow, and you got yourself a Dream Eater. In the meantime, Frollo is busy trying to kill Quasi and his Quasi-girlfriend. He ends up on a gargoyle statue, quoting a passage from the Bible about how the wicked shall be plunged into the dark depths of hell. And in that moment, God is like, that's what it says, that's what I'm going to do. And so the statue breaks, letting the evil, self-righteous Frollo fall to his death. When it looks like Quasimodo is about to meet the same fate, without the eternal separation from the glory of God part, he is saved by Phoebus. Then Quasi puts Phoebus' hand into Esmeralda's, which, because all the scenes from the movie where their relationship was developed are missing, feels incredibly weird and out of place. I command you to mate. Shortly later, Sora is told by the Hunchback, before he can even finish his own sentence, that he really can't blame Frollo for putting walls around him. Actually you can, because that's what he totally did. More than anything, he himself was his own worst prison guard, but now he is free, and he wants to go out and see what the world is like. 5 minutes later. Burn it! Burn the abomination! The young hero takes the time to think this whole short adventure over again, while looking at a depiction of... Who is that guy? It doesn't look like Jesus. Is this Lord Bruska from Final Fantasy X? In a Christian church? This raises a whole universe of questions that increase with every single second that I'm looking at this, and wants to make my consciousness escape from his body and kick me in the balls for putting it into this situation. So better let's just move on real quick to a slightly less hamana inducing moment, with the guy we meet in Traverse Town showing up again and a flickering image of Vanitas that, as far as I am concerned, has no deeper meaning than to troll our brains again. It's Riku's turn again, who shows up in an entirely independent existing but exact copy of the world Sora was in. Esmeralda thanks Riku for covering for her when Phoebus asked him if he saw a gypsy. So... Riku's clothes are not strange enough for you to consider him an outsider? What are the rules here? The silver-haired teen tells her that she's welcome, but also admits that he has no idea what a gypsy is in the first place, so his answer to Phoebus wasn't even a lie. Who doesn't like moral loopholes? In any case, she is thankful and tells Riku, because he was asking what the deal is with Frollo and the gypsies, how he is simply a control freak and hates that what he has no power over.
I'd hate to know what darkness drives that man.
I think I can imagine.
I know what it's like to commit genocide. I helped do it. Lots of times. When I was 15. This used to be just a single workday for me. He goes to the cathedral because he wants to talk to Frollo. I'm curious how that conversation is supposed to go down. Why not compromise? But we run into Quasimodo instead, who tells us to go away because the Archdeacon is not home at the moment. But I have so many sins to confess. He replies, explaining who he really wanted to see. Quasimodo begins to talk out of the blue, how kind and great his master is, because he is a monster and protects him from the outside world. But our aspiring Keyblade master sees what's going on and tells him that looks can be deceiving, and real friends look for what's on the inside, something he knows all too well. Besides, I'm very sure that this magical explosion stuff that turned me back into a sexy teen can work on everybody. Next year, our first line of products is going to hit the market and we are going to drive the plastic surgeons out. Riku encourages him to go outside and make some real friends, but Quasimodo is reluctant and scared. Because he doesn't want to force him to do anything, he just leaves him and goes to the outskirts of town, noticing that Dream Eaters have been attacking and burning down the city. Arriving at our destination, we see Frollo wanting to destroy the house of another family that protected gypsies, and is only held back by Captain Phoebeus. We also see that the judge, just like before in Sora's world, is able to control the Dream Eaters, and I love this next part because it's so fitting for Claude Frollo's character. For once, he doesn't think that these creatures, who are obviously and undeniably evil and magic, are part of dark forces, but instead are a gift from the heavens so that he can smite all his enemies. Mwah! There's nothing more reprehensible than fundamentalist hypocrisy. Phoebeus and Rico realize that there's no use in trying to talk with the man, because he is already too far gone to be saved. And predictably, like a clock, Frollo responds with, "I'm a virtuous man who does virtuous things." Next week, he's going to start his campaign for Republican presidency. The captain gets hurt and is unable to help us, so we have to stop the giant Dream Eater alone. At the bonfire, we meet Quasimodo, who already saved Esmeralda.
Quasimodo. Did your heart have the answer?
A time and a place, Riku!
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
We confront Frollo, Riku telling him that he is not a hero, but a sad old man with a dark heart. This, of course, fuels the judge's anger and he summons the Dream Eater bat. When he flies over him, the force of the air causes Frollo to fall into the flames, and unlike his other version, somehow thinks that this makes him victorious. But more importantly, we are once again deprived of the chance to fight Frollo ourselves. My thumb was so itching for that smash button. What a letdown. I was kind of expecting like a fireball throwing dark wizard Frollo boss fight. Come to think of it, when was the last time we fought an actual Disney villain? Seems so long ago. Suddenly, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and the mysterious other person pay us a visit. They say we better get those sweet darkness juices flowing again, or we are going to end up dry. And then they leave. We quickly wrap up some remaining story thingies and prepare to go to the next world. But this will have to wait until next time. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Zgermanguy out and auf Wiedersehen.